My name is Elena Monroe. I'm 35, and I thought I knew the meaning of trust until last Saturday. That day was supposed to be the final wedding planning session at my fiancé Victor's apartment. I arrived early, hoping to surprise him with a few last-minute touches for the guest list and the seating chart. I knocked on the door but paused. There were voices inside. One was familiar, Victor's. The other was a woman's, his ex-girlfriend, Natalia. I should have turned around. I should have driven away and pretended I hadn't heard a thing. But curiosity, maybe instinct, kept me frozen, listening through the cracked door. And then it hit me like a punch in the gut. "And just 6 more days of pretending," Natalia said in a soft, deliberate tone. "Once I get the green card, I'll stick around maybe a year to make it look real, then divorce him. Victor is waiting. Finally, we'll be together." Her sister Katia laughed lightly. "He has no idea. None. He talks about kids, buying a house, and you're just biding your time." Every detail sank like stones in my chest. The $40,000 I'd spent on the wedding, the ring I'd given him, months of planning, an apartment I'd secretly leased to surprise him. It was all for a lie, a calculated scam. I raised my hand to knock but hesitated. My mind raced, every possible outcome spinning wildly. I could storm in and confront them. I could call the police. I could leave and never speak to Victor again. But none of that felt satisfying. If I wanted justice, I needed control. Calm, precision. I backed away silently, walking to my car. 20 minutes later, my decision was made. I knocked. My face wore the warmest, most excited smile I could muster. "Hey, love, ready to finalize the seating chart?" I said cheerfully. Victor greeted me with a grin, oblivious, kissing me lightly on the cheek. "Of course, Elena. Can't wait for the big day." The act was flawless. If I hadn't overheard Natalia's confession, I might have believed every word. We spent the next 3 hours reviewing flower arrangements, upgrading tables, discussing menu tweaks, me agreeing to every request, all while my mind was a storm of plotting and observation. Later, I made my first strategic call. Marcus Rodriguez, an old law school friend now working for immigration control, was the perfect ally. I told him everything I'd heard, every word Natalia had spoken. Marcus didn't hesitate. "Marriage fraud. That's federal. Are you sure?" "Dead sure," I said. "I have recordings. I just need guidance on how to proceed without tipping them off." Marcus ran me through the legal landscape. He reminded me that all evidence needed to be meticulously documented: bank transfers, texts, anything showing intent to deceive. I knew exactly how to do it. My career in law hadn't prepared me for heartbreak, but it had prepared me for strategy. Meanwhile, I quietly observed Victor. Every phone ping, every furtive glance, every overly casual excuse from Natalia. I tracked her social media, noting how she carefully curated her online presence, erasing any trace of our engagement while keeping Victor in the background. It was all methodical, deliberate. And the audacity of it? Natalia didn't even try to hide her plans from her sister. She believed she was untouchable. I smiled quietly, letting the anger simmer. A storm was coming, and I would make sure it struck at the perfect moment. That night, alone in my apartment, I reviewed every detail, every receipt, every interaction. The betrayal had been personal, but my response would be clinical, precise, and irreversible. This wasn't about revenge. It was about truth, exposure, and reclaiming everything that had been stolen from me. The plan was set, and all I had to do was wait. The week before the wedding was a delicate dance. I moved like a shadow, present but unnoticed, absorbing every interaction between Victor and Natalia while outwardly playing the role of the blissfully unaware fiancé. Victor was excited, nervous even, but completely blind to the truth. He had no idea that Natalia had admitted, in her own words, that our entire engagement was a lie. Every conversation I had with him was coated in warmth and affection, a careful mask hiding the storm brewing beneath my skin. I started compiling everything I needed. Bank statements showing I had paid for virtually everything: venues, flowers, catering, even the deposits for the family hotels. Texts from Natalia canceling plans with my family or refusing to meet my friends. A glaring absence of photos of us together at her apartment. Social media posts in her native language where I was never mentioned. It was all there, if anyone knew how to look. The breakthrough came when I traced Victor's social media. A casual search revealed posts from 2 months prior, photos of him and Natalia in Vegas, matching tattoos visible in the background, taken during a weekend she had claimed was girls only. My stomach twisted. This wasn't a small deception. It was a full-scale, meticulously planned con. I sent screenshots to Marcus, who ran her name through official channels. His message was short and chilling. She's done this before. Previous engagements mysteriously ended right before the wedding. Pattern is clear. Organized fraud. With each revelation, my strategy crystallized. I couldn't just confront her in private. Natalia thrived in secrecy, counting on her confidence to shield her lies. The exposure needed to be public, dramatic, irreversible. Meanwhile, Natalia escalated her demands. "Elena," she said in passing, "the honeymoon tickets should be transferred to my name for safekeeping. The apartment lease? Add me now." I smiled sweetly, agreeing to everything verbally, all the while doing nothing. I let her think she was in control. That illusion would be her undoing. The day before the wedding, I finalized the preparations. Every document, screenshot, and piece of evidence was carefully organized. Marcus confirmed he could be on standby with immigration control at the ceremony. I knew exactly when and how it would unfold. That night, I went home and rehearsed every moment in my mind. I imagined Natalia's face when the audio played. I imagined the gasps, the frozen expressions, the chaos. And yet, even in my planning, a small knot of guilt twisted inside me. Victor was oblivious. He deserved the truth, but this would hurt him too. I reminded myself, this wasn't vengeance. This was justice. Every dollar, every moment of trust, every plan Natalia had crafted was a crime, and she needed to face the consequences. As I lay in bed that night, I could hear the city breathing outside my window, unaware of the storm that would hit at sunrise. Tomorrow, the wedding, would not be just a ceremony. It would be a revelation. And Natalia would finally learn what happens when lies meet precision. The morning of the wedding was surreal. Sunlight poured through the hotel suite, illuminating the flowers, the linens, the meticulous decorations Natalia had insisted on. Everything sparkled, a picture-perfect facade hiding the storm that would erupt in just a few hours. I sat quietly in a corner, sipping my coffee, reviewing the evidence on my phone one last time. Audio files, screenshots, social media posts. They were all there, undeniable. The plan was simple. Let the ceremony begin, then reveal the truth, publicly. Victor arrived, radiating excitement. He didn't know the betrayal that lurked just behind the veil of Natalia's charm. "Elena," he said, smiling nervously, "are you ready?" I nodded, forcing warmth into my voice. "Absolutely. Let's make this a day to remember." Guests began arriving. Family members of both sides filled the chairs. Natalia moved like a queen, confident, radiant. She leaned close to me as we adjusted our dresses. "Almost done with this circus," she whispered in her native language to her sister Katia. I forced a smile, nodding politely, hiding the rage simmering beneath. When the officiant, a close friend, called us to the altar, my heart raced. I was calm on the surface, but inside, every nerve screamed with anticipation. Natalia didn't suspect a thing. She thought the day would unfold according to her script. Then came the vows. I took a deep breath, turning to face the crowd. "Before we proceed," I said, my voice steady, "there's something everyone here needs to hear." The room fell silent, all eyes on me. Natalia's smile faltered. "Elena, what are you doing?" she whispered, panic creeping into her tone. I pulled out my phone and connected it to the venue's speaker system. Pre-arranged with the AV team, the audio played crystal clear. Natalia's voice filled the room. "Just 6 more days of pretending. After I get the green card, I'll stick around maybe a year to make it look real, then divorce him. Victor is waiting back home. Poor guy has no idea." The reaction was immediate. Gasps echoed across the venue. Guests froze, some stepping back, others whispering urgently. Victor's face drained of color, his eyes wide in shock. Natalia's expression shifted rapidly, white, red, then a deep purple of anger and fear. Her father started yelling in their language. Her mother collapsed into tears. Katia tried to snatch my phone. "This is illegal," she screamed. I stayed calm. Marcus, standing in the third row, raised his badge. "Immigration fraud is illegal," he said, voice firm. 2 other officers stepped forward, confirming the presence of legal authority. The chaos escalated. Natalia attempted to flee, her dress sweeping the floor, but family members blocked her path. Her screams filled the air. "You ruined everything!" "No," I said, voice cold, steady. "You ruined everything when you decided to commit fraud. I'm merely exposing it." Her lips quivered as she stammered. "But Victor." "Yes, Victor," I said. "You planned this all along, hoping to secure your future with him while using me as a pawn. Everything is documented. Vegas trip, matching tattoos, previous engagement scams. It's all here." Marcus stepped closer. "Miss Petro, you are under investigation for immigration fraud. Your student visa is revoked effective immediately. You have 30 days to leave voluntarily or face deportation and a permanent ban." Tears streamed down her face, but they weren't the kind of tears that inspire sympathy. They were pure, unmasked rage. She turned to Katia, then to her parents, her voice trembling, yet venomous. "You've all turned against me." "No, Natalia, your own actions did that." The wedding erupted into controlled chaos, guests murmuring, some leaving, others documenting every moment on their phones. Victor sat frozen, still processing the revelation, grief and disbelief clouding his expression. And there I stood, Elena Monroe, calm and composed, finally seeing justice unfold in front of my eyes. The venue emptied faster than anyone could process. Guests murmured in shocked clusters, some calling friends, others quietly leaving, their expressions a mix of disbelief and sympathy. Natalia's family scrambled to leave, dragging themselves toward taxis, clearly realizing the legal and social storm they had walked into. Yet the entitlement didn't end with their retreat. That night, around 2:00 a.m., a pounding on my apartment door shattered any illusion of calm. I peered through the peephole. Natalia, her parents, and 3 cousins, all frantic, their faces flushed with anger and desperation. "Open this door! You owe us!" Natalia shouted, voice hoarse from crying and screaming. I dialed 911 calmly, explaining the situation. By the time the officers arrived, her mother, Elena, had crafted a story of theft, claiming I had stolen money meant for the wedding and hotel deposits. "He promised to pay for everything. He robbed us," she cried. The officer raised an eyebrow. "Sir?" I smiled wryly, showing him receipts. "Everything I paid for, venue, flowers, catering, is non-refundable. Guests enjoyed it without me. The cash I gave Natalia for hotel deposits? Ask her where it went." The room went quiet. Natalia couldn't answer. The money had already vanished, likely transferred to Victor. The officers escorted them out, but not before her cousin Dmitri made thinly veiled threats. "You don't know who you're messing with. We have connections." "So do I muttered under my breath, knowing the federal authorities already had involvement. The next morning, I received a call from a lawyer representing Natalia. Her demands were absurd. Compensation for emotional distress and defamation. $100,000. "Or we sue," the lawyer threatened. I laughed softly. "Your client admitted immigration fraud on tape, in front of federal agents. Counteroffer, she leaves the country quietly, and I don't pursue additional charges for theft by deception." "What theft?" the lawyer sputtered. I listed the $5,000 cash for hotel deposits, the wedding gifts already spent, the engagement ring she refused to return. They had no leg to stand on. Meanwhile, a family group chat exploded. Katia had accidentally included me. The messages were chaotic, but gold. "Elena, we must find a new American for Natalia. Richer, dumber. Uncle Pavle, this one seemed dumb enough. Katia, with what army? Dmitri, still say we beat him up." I screenshot everything before they realized and quietly removed myself. 2 weeks later, Natalia escalated again. She appeared at my office, sobbing, pleading. "Please, I love you. Victor means nothing." I had her escorted out by security, but not before her words cut through the air. "You'll die alone. No woman will want a man like you." Next came the smear campaign. Social media posts accused me of abuse, humiliation, and a set-up wedding. Some believed it, until I released everything. Receipts, texts, audio, social media screenshots. Her narrative crumbled. Her mother made one last desperate attempt, calling my mother. "Your son destroyed my daughter's life. He's a monster." My mother, unflinching, responded, "Lady, I came to America legally, worked my ass off, and raised my son to respect the law. Your daughter is a con artist. Don't call here again." Even in court, the drama continued. Natalia tried to sue for breach of promise to marry. Her lawyer argued humiliation and financial damage. I countersued for fraud. Audio recordings, bank records, social media proof, and testimony from her previous victims left no doubt. The judge didn't just dismiss her case, he referred it to the DA for criminal prosecution. When Natalia attempted to claim cultural norms justified her fraud, the judge was unyielding. Ma'am, that is literally marriage fraud. Case closed. Through it all, my principle was simple. Integrity matters. Money lost can't be regained, but justice, once served, is forever. Deportation day came faster than anyone expected. Marcus, my friend and the federal agent, texted updates discreetly. I didn't feel the need to witness it in person. This wasn't about spectacle. It was about justice. Natalia made a scene at the airport predictably. She claimed she was pregnant. False. She claimed illness. False. She cried political persecution. False. Her family filmed every tantrum for social media, crafting themselves into martyrs. In the end, she cursed in 2 languages and disappeared into the plane, leaving chaos in her wake. Her last message to me was almost comical. You destroyed my life. Victor left me because of you. I have nothing. I hope you're happy. I replied succinctly, almost calmly. I am. Thanks for the education on trust. Weeks later, a DM came from someone claiming to be Victor's real wife. She thanked me for exposing Natalia's lies and confirmed that Victor had been deceiving multiple women. Irony wasn't lost on me. The scammer had been scammed. Looking back, the red flags had been everywhere. Avoiding video calls with family under flimsy excuses. Always too busy to meet my friends or integrate into my life. Controlling all wedding communications herself. Defensiveness over simple questions about her long-term plans. Lack of interest in my work. An immigration lawyer, despite marrying me. I realized something crucial. When someone performs a role perfectly, especially one you desperately want to believe in, your gut instinct can be muted. The deception becomes almost invisible. The money I lost, $40,000 for a wedding, countless deposits, a ring, was gone. No law could return it. But that wasn't the point anymore. Justice had been served, lessons had been learned, and lives had been spared from future deceit. I started a blog about immigration fraud, sharing stories, raising awareness, and helping others avoid traps like the one I'd endured. It gained traction quickly, and I toyed with turning it into a book, How I Married a Scammer and Lived to Tell the Tale. A month later, life began its quieter rhythm. I started dating again. She was from Ohio, straightforward, funny, and loved to tease me about my past. Every date, she'd show me her driver's license, laughing, just checking you're not here for a green card. I laughed too, appreciating the honesty. The final message from Natalia's side came quietly, almost anticlimactically. Victor, the man she schemed for, had been married for years. The elaborate web she built had collapsed under its own weight. Some lessons endure. Trust your instincts. Documentation is everything. If someone admits using you through a cracked door, believe them. Elena Monroe, 35, had survived deception, betrayal, and chaos. I wasn't broken. I was wiser, more cautious, and surprisingly unscarred in spirit. The scars were there, yes, but they were badges of vigilance, not failure. Life had reclaimed its rhythm, and I finally felt the weight lift. The wedding that was supposed to define me as a victim instead became a testament to awareness, preparation, and the surprising resilience of the human heart. The story wasn't about revenge. It was about learning, surviving, and knowing that sometimes the most shocking betrayals can teach the most valuable lessons.